Good morning, teachers. I am privileged to present you with this particular training over backward design. I think it's going to really enhance your teaching style and the instruction in your classroom. I think if we focus on what this is truly about, how it can be effective in the classroom, and really take the time to, research and make sure we understand the material that we are teaching and we're fully knowledgeable of the material that we are teaching. I definitely think that this can enhance student performance. I believe that, your teaching style will evolve, and I believe that students will evolve as well in your classroom. Again, I'm happy to present you with this presentation. I hope you will take it seriously, since I am, talking to science teachers at this point. I've tried to tailor this particular training to meet some of your specific content needs. So let's move on in our presentation. Today's agenda is taking our teaching to the next level, backward design, through backward design. What is backward design? We're going to discuss that, how to use backward design, 7th grade science TEKS, and we're going to be looking closely at 8C of your 7th grade science TEKS, and then we'll kind of wrap it up from there. This presentation is not going to be long. We are going to do some activities as we finish, just to make sure that you fully understand the training. So let's get started. Taking our teaching to the next level through backward design. We constantly want to improve our teaching. Teaching should evolve to serve our changing student populations, keeps educators on our toes and striving for teaching excellence, and backward design can help us evolve and strive for teaching excellence. I like to use an analogy or a comparison of working out. I like to work out. I like to go to the gym. I like to set goals for myself when I am working out. A lot of people, they have a goal to lose 5 pounds, but yet they have no plan on how to lose those 5 pounds. It's good to have that end result of 5 pounds. But at the same time, I want to make this more of a lifestyle. And so how do I make that, working out, getting in shape, how do I make that a lifestyle? I know that, and what goals do I want to achieve through that? Do I want to put on muscle? Do I want to lose weight? Do I want to, have a six pack abs or whatever? And so once I know what goals I want to achieve, now I can begin to plan ways to reach those goals. And that's what backward design is all about. So then let's move on. What is backward design? Backward design is the concept planning instruction with the end goal of the instruction in mind. Helps teachers to focus their instruction only on the concepts that will be assessed and instructing to the level of the assessment. Okay. So for me, if I want to lose 5 pounds, there are certain things that I will need to do in order to reach that goal. So for you, if you want 10% of your students to, or if you want to increase your science star or benchmark test by 10%, then how do you accomplish that? If you are teaching a science lesson, then it would behoove you to go through the lesson, go through all the objectives, and see how it pertains to the TEKS or how it aligns with the TEKS, and discover what do I want my students to learn from this particular lesson, from the objectives, what activities can I put into place so that they will achieve this goal. If I want 95% of my students to pass the next test, how can I achieve this goal? And so that's what backward design is all about. It has the end before the beginning. The 3 stages of backward design: identify desired results. What is it that I want the students to understand and know and be able to do? 2, determine acceptable evidence. How will I know that they know what I want them to know? So then at a school district that I worked at, we would call them DOLs, demonstration of learning, where students had to demonstrate the objective for that day. They had to demonstrate it in some way, whether we did task lists, whether we did a small assessment at the end, whether we a 5-question quiz or whatever, whether we did question and answers. I'm going through and I'm asking, individual students questions, and I'm waiting on their response. We did multiple response strategies, thumbs up, turn and talk. There are different things to for our DOLs, for our demonstration of learning. Plan learning experiences. What do I need to do in the classroom to prepare them for the assessment? Let's move on. Okay, so on this, let's go back. I don't know if you're going to be able to see all this, but it says using backward design. 7th grade science TEKS 8C, model the effects of human activity on groundwater and surface water in a watershed. Stage 1, what is your end goal? What do you want your students to learn for the TEKS, from the TEKS? How will you determine if your students have learned what you want them to know about the TEKS? Stage 3, what kind of activity will you plan for your students to get them ready for your assessment? Moving on. Using backward design, 7th grade science TEKS 8C, model the effects of human activity on groundwater and surface water in a watershed. Stage 1, what is your end goal? What do you want your students to learn for the TEKS? So here we go. No key concepts. Earth has a limited supply of fresh water. Humans can affect this limited supply of water. No key vocabulary. Watershed, divide, groundwater, surface, water, eutrophication, etc. No key effects of human activity on groundwater and surface water. Water shortages, water pollution, eutrophication. Moving on. Stage 2, how will you determine if your students have learned what you want them to know about the TEKS? How will you determine what will be your DOLs, your demonstration of learnings? Students show understanding of key concepts, putting activities in place, different things like that. Students can define key vocabulary, call on individual students, different things like that. Do multiple response strategies. Give me a thumbs up if you know and understand this vocabulary word. Or you can have A, B, C, or D on the wall, and you can tell students to walk to the answer of the question and do it that way as well. Students can name and explain human effects on groundwater and surface water in a watershed. Moving on, stage 3, what kind of activities will you plan for your students to get them ready for your assessment? You can do group discussions. Identify areas on a U.S. map and ask students if those areas are watershed and to explain why they are or are not watersheds. Journal activities. Can agricultural waste like fertilizers speed up the process of eutrophication? Why or why not? Group activity. Have students label diagrams about groundwater and freshwater. quiz, key concepts, and key vocabulary. Group project. Have students in groups explain the different ways that human activity affects groundwater and surface water in a watershed. And unit assessments. In closing, backward design takes teaching to the next level because it encourages teachers to see the end goal first so they can plan better lessons, activities, and assessments. Helps students by allowing them to focus on the key concepts, vocabulary, and information that they need to master. So, in closing, once again, backward design will help the teacher and help the teacher determine everything that they need to do in advance to accomplish an end result. And backward design will help students master the material, help students focus on the goal at hand. And so this is an evolving process. This is an evolving goal for us to try to achieve in the classroom. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now.